That's not attached?
Yeah,
That's
it's
because
attached here too.
this is the attachment.
I understand it was attached, that's all.
Right. Is that an issue you want to
No,
get?
no,
Is that
there's
before we try to
not
do it?
enough time to do it before this.
We don't have to consider it as a meeting, that's why I asked. If you have not had the chance to.
I haven't, but, you know, there are probably other people going to do it, I mean. No, I
Are
have.
these gonna be here so that we can look at them before vote?
Because of the size of it wasn't attached. We do have, let's go ahead and take the testimony.
Yeah, that would be.
Oh, there you go, okay. Pardon me, we're gonna pick up 132.
Good afternoon. My name is Martha Copper, and I'm the manager for the hazard mitigation planning for East West Gateway Regional.
We're trying to talk with. We are ready for. We'd like to do, just to talk a little bit about your ideas, thoughts, that has, been before the board and the city. Any merits and any problems or issues that you have, just talk to the city.
Well, I honestly don't know all the ins and outs of the review board. And there's so many rumors. There's so many rumors among police officers, just what the review board.
Pardon me,
I'm sorry.
they didn't. Would you identify yourself?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Officer Eddie Simmons Jr., St. Louis City Police Department. I'm president of the Ethical Society of Police. Okay. Myself, I am pro review board because I feel that we need some kind of tool that will bring credibility to the police department and the public into the community. Right now, we don't have that. We don't. There are some bad cops out there. There are. And everybody knows this, from top all the way down to the bottom, there are. I'm not saying it's a whole lot of them, but I feel that if there's something else besides what we have across the street that will look at these things, that will investigate these things, that will have subpoena power to investigate, then that enough right there, that will really help. It will. I would really like if there was something that could be passed out among some police officers in the community too about the review board, because there's so many people saying they're doing a witch hunt, man, they're all anti-police, they want to do this and that, and it's not. I've been a police officer now for 21 years, and I'm not paranoid about internal affairs. I'm not paranoid about investigations. I welcome investigations. They are good, because I really believe if you are innocent about anything that you've done or you didn't do, then you'll be all right. But the way things are now, it ain't happening. It's not. It's not.
Questions for the rest of the committee? Alderman Nguyen? Alderman Smith?
How many members are in the Ethical Society of
We
Police?
have approximately 232 members.
And has this issue come before the membership? Is this an official position of the Ethical Society of Police?
Not exactly. We're kind of up in the air about it because no one really understands. See, that's what I'm saying. If everyone understood exactly what the review board stood for, the rules of how it's going to operate, what it entails, then I'm pretty sure that all of our members will be for this.
And as an Ethical Society of Police, what are your general requirements? I mean, I'm not real sure. This is not a union organization. What causes someone to be eligible to be a member in the Ethical Society?
Anyone on the St. Louis City Police Department can join the Ethical Society of Police. And what we do, we
Okay.
afford lawyers for officers in trouble, try to get the testing, promotions.
And so, when you say that you favor the Civilian Review Board, when you're saying that, and I appreciate the idea of handing out this information to officers, but there haven't been any final decisions made, so it might be a little difficult, but when you say that you're in favor of it, what is sort of the kind of structure, what is it that you feel favorable toward in terms of the Civilian Review?
Well, the investigations. If, the way things are now, this is just me talking now, I'm not talking as for the Ethical Society or anybody else.
Right.
I'm talking for Eddie Simmons, police officer. The way things are now, there's a lot of whitewashing. You know, if you know this person is bad, if you, and you all come in, you don't know each other, and you all saying the same thing about this person, then the police department knows this person is bad. Then the police department should do something about this person. But see, that often doesn't happen, you know? It doesn't. It doesn't.
Okay, that's all I need. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Alderman Russell.
I don't doubt anything you said. But, you know, I asked a few years ago, less than that, maybe 2 years ago, I asked, I was interested in police turnover because I'd heard some information, you know, and the information, it wasn't official stuff, it was just like on the street. Anyway, so the chief gave me a rundown of all turnover for the last 20 years. And that included reasons for leaving. And I was surprised to see the amount of police officers that were fired. I did not think, you know, I'm not saying it was a great one, but I mean, there were always, I would say, and I'm using this from memory now, 5 to 10 a year. And I was surprised to see that number. So they were fired for some reason. You know, when you say that nothing, you know, it seems like you're saying nothing. The bad guys aren't being kicked out. Some of them are.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, some of them, okay. Some of them are being disciplined, but not the way it should be done. It's not. It's not.
okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Alderman McMillan? Alderman Bowles?
Just curious, the name of the association is the Ethical?
Ethical Society of Police
Okay.
came into existence in 1972.
We've got some matters on the ballot in November that are unethical. Now, based on the name of your organization, are you going to be coming out against the unethical proposals that deny people the right to vote?
We're not discussing.
It's a rhetorical. I thought this.
That's a good question, though.
Mr. Chairman, he may want to answer or say that he doesn't have a position.
He may. But that's not our subject matter, I won't.
Well, we'll talk outside.
We weren't invited here to discuss that.
Okay.
But we'll get.
Did you have any other questions?
No, I'm for ethics. And I'm against things which are unethical.
Yeah.
That's my position, Mr. Jackson.
Alderman Flowers?
Yes, I know you can't speak for your members, and you're speaking for yourself, and I do appreciate you coming forward. What would you say, what would you think the overall morale of police officers are today on our department?
Oh, it's really bad. No pay raises. A lot of officers think because, well, if we don't get pay raises, then why can't we live where we want to live at? I think we're going to get think $1,200 across the board. That's like maybe $20 more in your check. The morale's really bad. It is. Then when it comes to us as black people in the department, when you look at the testing procedures, how it's just blatant cheating, you know. And I said this in the chief's office, it's blatant cheating. You know, I'll often say they used to cheat fair. I mean, when you come up with three blacks in the A cluster, and then after those 3 are made, and 19 whites will go, no black females for 5 years, and it's just really bad. It is. It's really bad.
Well, I hope we can get you some information so you can read
Yes,
what's
that's right.
involved about, and then we can come back, you know, because my concern is, I do believe in morale as well.
It is.
And,
Everyone's trying to leave, you know.
yeah,
They're all putting in applications, trying to go someplace else. A group of officers went down to Atlanta, but the money was not enough. If I,
It's never enough.
it's not. If I didn't have 21 years on, right at 21, I wouldn't be here. Just like that.
we can read the copy of the war bill, as many as you need.
Hope so.
You know, we don't have a bill yet.
Well,
It'd be
when it
more.
comes-
working bill or whatever, so way they can kind of read a little bit.
Alderman Norton?
We always have some work.
Mm.
First of all, I really want to thank you for coming out,
Yes, sir.
you know, in front of us. And, I mean, like Chairman Kennedy said, you know, when this kind of came up, you know, he didn't think it would be as hard as it is. And, I mean, the officers that I talk to, it's not even thinking about it. It's like, no, you know, I wouldn't come out in front of that, you know, that committee at all. You know, when you talk about morale, and I think all of us know what that is, what I've always said is, you know, which we don't have the money, you know, and I know that, but if we were the best paying force, morale would probably go up, and that residency issue would probably fade away, because you're in no better shape than we are. You know, we have to live in the city too. And we've got smaller boundaries, because we have to live in our ward. At least you can live anywhere you want in the city. Okay, but, you know, I think that money would resolve a lot of the problem. Well, I mean, I think that people then couldn't have the excuse that they're leaving for more pay in other municipalities. And I think that's sometimes what they do. And I think that we ought to be the best paid force, you know, instead of always fighting to keep up with the county or someone else. You know, and I think all of us kind of agree that something needs to happen, you know, and then we have all these different opinions about how we should do it. You know, when you talk about investigation, I mean, I think it would have to be the right group, the right people appointed, or however that would happen, because what if it were someone like me that doesn't know how to do an investigation? You know, I think that then we have a whole lot of homework to do, you know, and that's why we've had numerous meetings, and if you get the opportunity, try to get the tapes from, you know, Channel 10 and kind of review some of the meetings that we had over in 208. They're, you know, it's pretty interesting. And they put them out, you know, I don't know if you watch Channel 10 or not, if you got cable or dish, but if you got cable, it's the only way you can see
TV at all.
them. Okay. Well, it's kind of like me, I don't get to watch TV either. Let's see, what else? You brought something up too. I mean, do you think that without anything else, if there were, you know, because right now you have internal affairs, you get that procedure, that it would boost morale
I think
without money?
Well, no, the money would really do it. But I think what needs to happen is for people to see that if Internal Affairs says this, they say this, and then Review Board, they say the same thing, then that brings credibility to it. Because a lot of people don't want to go to Internal Affairs at all, because I'll forget that, you know, when I'll come down there, they'll say this and do this, they're on the, they think when they go in that the deck is stacked against them already. But I think, I'm pro Internal Affairs. I know a lot of people say, well, me, myself, Eddie Summers, I am an honest cop. I am. And I try hard. And I let people know that I'm not for no foolishness. If it's around me, I will say something. I've proven that. I've done that. I'm not a popular person on the police department because of that. But when I go home at the end of the day, I look in the mirror, I'm happy with what I see. Me. And I don't have to hide behind nobody else or say anything that I'll go along with the program or the Good Old Boy Network. I'm not nowhere near part of that.
Just your opinion. Why do you think it's so hard to get other blue shirts in? I mean, we don't have a bill in front of us, and that, you don't have to be far against or anything, just to sit down and give an opinion.
Paranoid, they are.
Why?
And- See, you would have to.
Well, it's career, I understand that.
Police officers are very untrusted. They are just very untrusted. And the system within the police department make us this way. They do, it does. A lot of cops, they want something to change, but they don't want to be a part of it. Like I got, oh yeah, I hear you going to the meeting. Let me know what happens. I said, why don't you come too? You know, it's like, they don't want to say anything. Like this little article that the American did with me on the cover. They, oh man, you said that? I didn't say anything. I mean, it wasn't nothing. They're just scared, scared that. And that's the reason why. See, we can't move within the department that much as black people. That's why I'm speaking because I'm black, and I'm a police officer in this organization. But we can't move because if you say something, then the ones who stand on the sideline are scared that I won't get a chance to take that test, or I won't get a chance to get a grade, or I won't, this will affect me and moving up and everything like that. They're so scared. And so coming through this door to stand here, sit here, and talk to you all about it, no. Scared. Apparently.
I remember a few years ago, and I wasn't elected then, but a good friend of mine, and I kind of went to school with him, and he was a white shirt, got put in prisoner processing. So,
Yeah.
you know, I know things happen.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Without investigations. So, anyway, I want to thank you again for
Yes,
coming
sir.
in.
Happy to.
Alderwoman Smith?
Thank you. I do want to thank you for your candor. And I want to preface it by saying that we hear a lot about police morale and police aren't paid enough. And I certainly understand that. But there are a lot of city employees who do their job every day and are underpaid, and our public safety officers as well, and are out there putting their life on the line. That's not to degree the police officers are, but the community is also, the morale in the community is also low with respect to the performance of police officers. And it's on little bitty things, you know, that citizens don't think that police officers, and not all, or will respond to. Say, for example, is a derelict car that's on the street, and police officers won't even bother to drive by, take a piece of yellow chalk and mark it so that, you know, little bitty things like that. Police officers not responding to stolen vehicles. You can chase a stolen vehicle, but we'll call you and tell you that stolen vehicle has been sitting here for several weeks, and you won't even come. But if that car's moving down the street, then you all are complaining because you can't trust. So it's on both sides. And I really personally, I think that there needs to be a community dialogue where the community and the police come together and honest, and be honest enough and mad enough to talk about what the real issues are. Me personally, I think we need to look at public safety more holistically, which means really changing some traditional roles that police officers have. But that being said, I would like to know from you whether or not you think that it would be beneficial for us to have a face-to-face dialogue with police officers that perhaps you can convince, and maybe officers from the other police officers association might be man enough, because it is a strong thing to come to the table and say, okay, these are our issues, this is what we're concerned about, and this is what we get, and see if we can, you know, if there can't be a meeting of the mind somewhere. And the reason why I think we don't move forward is that, first of all, people, just as you said, they want to sit back and let somebody else do the work. They say they're macho mano, but they're not, they're punks, excuse my expression, but that's what they really are, because you won't even come and dialogue. You won't let it down enough to be honest. You know, we hear this, cops underpaid, we gotta live in the city. Well, you know, so what, all other city employees do too, okay? We're public safety officers. Well, you're not the only public safety. We honor you, you know, as police officers. We appreciate the protection, the fire protection that you give, as well as the police power that you give. But when it's all said and done, this is our city. If you're concerned about it, then let's come to the table and talk about what the issues are. Just like you know that there are problems, you know, and I have had probably the luxury that nobody in this room has had. I've served in every branch of city government. I've represented, when I was a young county councilor, I was assigned to the St. Louis County Police Department, okay? I've represented police officers. So I understand that the majority of the police officers are daggone good officers. And a small portion of it makes it very bad for everybody else. But those police officers that are good officers and do care about the community and take their responsibility seriously, then they ought to be willing to come to the table and say what the problem is, because there is a problem. Okay, you pointed out the main thing, credibility. Folks don't want to go down, I say, go down there, at least document it, so it can be part of the record, so if this cop does something else that maybe is worse than what he did to you, at least it's a record of it, and they can show a pattern. You know, that's why I encourage you. But can you give us any idea of how we might possibly be able to have a community dialogue with police officers, all of the so-called, I hate to use the word stakeholders, because we didn't, advanced St. Louis has wore that out. But all the people in the community that have an interest, how do we bring them together and try to resolve this? Back and forth, no, we don't want no civilian oversight. They're all anti-police, you know, and that sort of thing. How do we get past that?
You know, it's I can't even get 200, on the St. Louis City Police Department, we got about 500, out of 1,340 police officers roughly, we have about 510 black police officers. I can't even get those officers to come to hear about the episode. We only have 230, and I can't even get 50 of them to come to a meeting. Nobody wants to do anything, be associated with anything until something happens to them, and then they want the wagon circle around them. Where's everybody at? This is what's going on. It's just hard. You sound like me talking. I said at our board meetings, how can we get these people to come out? I show them, and what's so really mind-boggling to me, when a black officer gets in trouble, and he's a member of the association, he's not a member of the ethical society, he won't go to the association. He'll come to me and want to join. And I said, no, brother, you need to go over there and talk to them. You're in that organization, go talk to them. They will not go say a word, but they're paying all this money to them. You can't, I have no idea.
Let me ask you this, do you think it would be helpful? And our chairman could certainly, would probably be open to this. For us to, do you have a community dialogue about this with a structure to it where people participate? I think one of the speakers that he brought forth talked about how very important it is to have the input of the police officers, to have the input from people in the community that have been in the forefront of this struggle for 21 years, trying to bring a civilian review board to the city of St. Louis. Do you think that would be helpful? Because I don't know what else we can do to at least attempt to do that.
I could be wrong, but I don't see police officers coming. I don't see it. I definitely don't see no white police officers coming that much. Maybe a few. The association probably sent a few to find out what was said or who was there. But as far as having input or taking back information or saying it's there, I'm telling you, the association and which is the larger, with the police department, they are anti. They don't hear anything about. And so I'm not saying they're spreading the rumors, but the rumors about the system review board is coming from someplace. I mean, it's just bad, 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 bad. So you keep hearing bad, bad, bad. Then when one person come along and said, hey, you need to check this out, y'all. We need to, oh, no, we don't need that. And I asked, okay, explain to me why, y'all. Even in our meetings, I asked them, tell me why we don't need this. Well, the public don't understand about police work. I said, but the public understands about right and wrong. That's all.
And the best way to make the public understand more is to come there and state your facts.
State your, they will,
You know, what is it? Because we want to come up with something that is fair to the community and at the same time fair to the police officer. We want to have a fair process to get rid of, what we know that there are bad cops, just like it's bad aldermen and bad, how dare you say that? And maybe I might be one of them, I don't know. But what I'm saying is somebody's got to be willing, and Mr. Chairman, I guess to end my little speech here is just, you know, we need to have a community dialogue about this issue. And perhaps we need to take the leadership in establishing that, inviting every entity that is impacted by this. You don't come, it's like if you don't vote, you ain't got no complaint. You have an opportunity, a fair opportunity to come and have some input. If you refuse to do so, then we're gonna go on without you and try to make it happen without you. But I think, and one of the speakers, and I can't think of her name right, from Minnesota, she talked about that, and we need to do that. And so we can move on, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Alderman Colonel,
Yes, I do. I have a question. There is the Police Association and the Ethical Society. Do they both have some kind of fellowship? I know the association, I remember when that it was founded. And it thrived. What's the difference between the two associations, and why was your second association started?
Well, there should be no existence of an ethical society of police. We shouldn't even have it. But when you don't have a voice, when the only time you hear something from an association, they'll say, we're all blue. I said, you're right. We're dark blue and we're light blue. Those are the blues we have. They don't take up any issues about racism. They know it. You know, it's hard because I was in association for many years, but what really, really broke the straw with me was when they sued black people with our own money. They sued us. And I looked at these black, I keep talking to them, how can y'all?
When did they do that?
They sued, what happened, they did the cluster jumping. Now, they've been cheating the test thing forever. So what happened, they said, well, powers to be, whoever they were, they look here, we're gonna have to do something, because we are really taking this too far. They jumped from the A cluster, skipped the B cluster, and went into C.
Who did?
The police department.
Wait a minute.
The police department did.
They eliminated the B?
No, but they did. They cluster jumped. They went from A to C.
what does that mean?
I'm gonna tell you what happens.
It's a
Okay,
big, I don't understand it
I'm sorry.
either.
You got an A cluster, these are officers and they're to be
Ready,
promoted.
ready to be promoted.
You got B cluster, they're under the A. What the department did, they skipped over the B cluster, went to the C cluster and got a few Negroes. They've made about 2 or 3.
Wait a minute. In other words, they're nowhere eligible.
They're eligible.
In
They're
the C
on
cluster?
the C cluster, you
From
know.
the A cluster to the C cluster?
No, man, what the department did, they went from A, they skipped to B, and they didn't wipe them all out, they just went over and took out 2 officers. They passed over these officers and made maybe 2 or 3 black officers. They should have been in the B cluster anyway, you know, they should have been there. So they did this, so the association jumped up and got an injunction with the suing. I said, well, you're suing the police, you're suing the police department, you're suing us with our own money, man. I mean, look at these black folks you all have in here, you know? And I said, well, it's had to be done, it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. I said, well, it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong, it's done all the time to us. You don't sue about that, you know? So that's why the ethical society is in existence, because we don't have a voice at all.
I understand now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Before the clusters, it went according to how much you know, what you scored, am I correct?
Before the cluster?
Before the cluster started.
They've always had clusters.
Oh, no, they haven't.
They've had clusters for years. You know, how far are you talking about?
I'm talking 25, 30 years ago.
Oh, well, I've only been on 21 years, so what happened back then?
Okay, I go back 40.
Okay, well, then all they had was a big list.
They had a list,
Yeah.
and it was supposed to be, the first 10 people were picked out of that group. Now, don't they still have a set of rules?
Rules.
Don't they have a set of rules of how they're supposed to be promoted?
The
No, I mean, the police department has a set of rules.
Man, those
Yes.
rules change, those rules change whatever they want to do. They can
Who changes
change
them?
them. Powers to be, I don't sit up there, I can't, every time I ask, who did that? Nobody knows anything.
Now, is it the police board?
The chief even asked me one time, I asked him, I wonder how that happened. And I'm going, he's asking me, I wonder how that happened.
But there are supposed to be a set of rules,
They're supposed to be, yes, ma'am.
and they should be public knowledge, am I correct?
The police
I mean,
department,
the set of rules of how you're promoted should be public knowledge,
yes, ma'am.
okay?
They are.
All right? And once you get that, past that, you know, if they did that all straight, then you wouldn't have a problem.
Ma'am, the testing is so out of line. We have these meetings where they'll bring everybody in, and what the problem is, it's not the test giver, it's what happens after the test is over, when everybody starts, I want my uncle, I want my cousin, I want my niece, I want my nephew, I want this, I want
understand
that.
politics
That's where all
comes in.
politics, that's all it is. If the police department would get away from the testing, let an outside entity come in and let them handle it, then it would be okay. But you can't look, you can look and see some of these guys that make a promotion dumb as a rock, was in the D cluster forever, all of a sudden, I'm in A cluster. No, it's wrong, no.
Well, there's three ways that you're tested. One is through book preparation.
Yeah.
Another's through a written test.
Yes.
And the final's through an oral test.
Yes.
And the oral test, sure, your written test is calculated.
Mhm.
Your book test is looked through,
Mhm.
which is letters from aldermen or anybody in the neighborhood that they recommend. But the oral test
Yeah.
is what can decide, regardless of what you score. That's what will decide your promotion and what cluster you
And
land
is that,
in.
is that done by?
That's the one where
board
they're
of-
out.
Police
They
department
pick,
does that.
they pick their officers to do that, and they move that, they change them officers every time, don't they?
Change
They
what?
come from outside, some of them are inside
Some
the
get- yeah,
police
some-
department, some outside from other police departments.
I mean, I just didn't quite know how they did it now, because I'm going back too far. But I just wanted to know if the situation was the
The
same.
last test that was given, the one where only 3 blacks were in the A cluster, 19 whites, so I have to go after another black to be promoted. This guy, he told us in the meetings, blacks, before this test, blacks, they do real good with my test. Black females do real good with my test. I was on the phone with that guy for about 3 hours about what happened. He couldn't tell me nothing. The police department, how can it be fair when they do the cluster? It can't. How?
I don't understand how they do it, but
Yeah, look, they sit around and say, I want him, that's how they do it. That's how they do it.
they don't go with the test? The test doesn't put you in this.
Man, that, you know one thing,
No?
that test,
No, I don't know, but I think we need to move back.
Move
to
on.
the review.
I know, I was just, well, yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if that was all, you know, straight, like it should be, okay, then we wouldn't really need a civilian review.
A whole lot of things were straight, we would need, like we would need an association, we would need an ethics society, if everything's gonna be right. You know, but it's not.
That might just help with the morale.
I just could never understand that, and that's why I asked, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You say you got your opportunity?
Huh?
Did you get understand?
I still don't understand, but that's okay.
We'll have another shot.
Were there any other questions from members of the committee? Well, we appreciate your coming.
Yes, sir.
We really thank you.
And what I am gonna do, I am going to see if I can get a meeting together and have someone come and talk to the officers. You know, I'm gonna do a little survey, see, there's no need to have a meeting when it's gonna be the same 3 or 4 people, you know, coming out. But I'm gonna try, because I really wanna see this go forward. I really wanna see this work. I really do. Really do. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, I wanted to talk to you some more. Come on.
Yeah.
Did that, Alderman Orphan had asked if you got what you
Mr. Chairman, I mean, part of this, and I think it's a good idea, as Alderwoman Smith was talking about trying to get other officers, I mean, because we have one viewpoint here, and I'm sort of getting this sense that we could have an even greater schism if we're not getting other folks around this table to, and some of their response might be, well, if I come, are you all willing to consider not even having a civilian review board? I don't know how we deal with that, but I think what, the invitation should be there for the union, and certainly the chief has the ability, and the chief's indicated some interest in this whole civilian review board thing, that perhaps he could send some folks here to, tell us some of the pluses and minuses of various
assume that the association was, yeah, they were asked to come.
We didn't, in answer to your question, the Ethical Society was not asked as an organization. My understanding at our last meeting, you wanted to get just some rank and file officers.
Some blue, yeah, blue shirts.
That was what the request was. So we went to individuals. And he was not here representing the association.
Because you
So
know,
in answer to your question, some members were asked, yes.
some people were asked, but the association was not.
No.
I mean, I think if we want to hear from, they're all blue shirts, why not send them a letter to their president and ask them, hey, why don't you send us some, if we invite them. The reason you know, I understand what Officer Simmons is saying about reluctance of some, but on the other hand, the association, they've been writing about against civilian review board. They're not afraid of expressing their opinion, and those articles are signed by somebody.
Right.
And so I think they would definitely testify, you know.
But if you remember, that's not what was asked. Right. The request at the meeting. The meeting was not to have representation from the two associations.
Well, we've
Your
shifted
request
it.
was to have individuals.
We've shifted.
Well, that's fine, but I'm just trying.
You know, we were just gonna try to get some blue shirts on, but it was a little bit harder than what was
It
thought.
wouldn't hurt to get somebody that was retired even.
We could do that, Alderman. That's it.
Yeah.
And would be willing to do it. I'm sure they would come and speak.
I think that's a very good point. And she may ask you, when the lady from Minnesota.
Yeah, Michelle Groves.
Michelle, I think they even had they had a public engagement piece,
They did.
you know, that we could either mirror or modify. But I think the point is well taken, that to officially request the input from the Ethical Police Society as well as the Police Officers Association. Would be a problem.
You need to bring them before.
You bring it,
Yes,
I mean,
it's
it's
represent-
request that they come and provide their position, and why, you know.
We can do that. That completes us for today, is it?
All right.
Thank you.